Now watch what happens. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Write this in your notes while you're bored with me right now. Write this in your notes. No teaching, no direction. You will run into not many days. What are you talking about? Okay, here it is. The next verse says this. As he asked for the goods, his father gives them to him. Scripture says he packed up everything that he had. He packed up all, he loaded up all, and he went into a far country. And then it says, watch this now, not many days. When you don't have any teaching, when you don't have any training, come on here, talk to me somebody. When you don't know what to expect tomorrow, when you don't know what's coming up tomorrow, and you go into not many days into a foreign country, into a place you don't know anything about, and you come up in the areas you don't know anything about, not many days are going to hit you. You ain't going to last long with no directions, come on here, and no teaching. I'm amazed at how many people, I wish somebody had gave me a manual that said, this is how you raise children. This is how babies come. This is what they do when they come. They cry, they poop, they depend on you for everything. It works on your psyche when you are a father and have a child and you can't provide pampers and milk and substance. Oh, y'all ain't. It bothers you. You don't have to say nothing. You ain't got to say nothing. You can keep on acting cool. You keep on acting bad. You're going to do one or two things. Either it's going to push you out and away, or it's going to pull you in and you stir yourself and you gird yourself. And you said, doggone it. I remember when Marquita was born, we had to live with mama for a few months. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Marquita was born, my first child. I was 18 years old. Had no idea. Child knew. No idea. No earthly idea. 18 years old, got a kid. And they said to me, I said, well, you won't get married, I'm doing all this. I had all that did, and I did. I stood by my decision, what I'm doing. And they asked me why my mom and my uncle, and even she brought the preacher to talk some sense into me. Y'all ain't saying nothing up in here. Yeah, they did. I'll have to lie, but she said right there. They did. I remember in her kitchen sink on the gym. I said, you know, you don't have to be this. You just deal with it. Pastor Dennis came and took me in the room. Brother Brown. Talk to them. My response to all of them was this. You raised me to take responsibility for what's mine. You told me, Dr. Casaneda, you told me. You told me that what I get my behind in, I got to get my behind out. That's what you told me. Yeah, I did tell you that. And I said, nobody gonna raise my child but me. And I said, if anybody come and she come to me one day saying this man hit me upside my head, he's dead, he is dying, he's going to jail, I'm going to jail because he's murdered. I wouldn't have handled that way. So I made a decision. This is what I am going to do. I had a self, y'all ain't saying nothing, idea about what this was. Little did I know that society would change a few years later. You can pay child support and take care of it, brother. You can do. No, it was a listen. You ain't feeling me. I'm telling you, this idea of self-deception just don't happen to you. It happens to everybody. Because when you don't know what tomorrow brings, you put yourself in a position where you are trying to design tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to preach my way out of here. Look, you know. So this young man, he comes, he said, no teaching. He reality slaps you in the face. Hit your neighbor and say, reality is coming. I don't care what kind of decision you make. You might want to get a divorce, go ahead and get it. But you better realize something, not many days. It's reality gonna hit you, and you're gonna be fighting another battle that you ain't ready to fight. Hit somebody and tell them, you might as well come on and go with the preacher right through here. You might want to date her. She looks fine right now. She's wonderful right now. But you better watch her, boy. She's controlling. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Oh, I know it's all right. You say, well, she likes the white tie. I'll get the white tie. She likes the black socks. I'll get the black socks. But she likes the red shoes. I'll wear the red shoes. Baby, you better stand still and say, I don't like red shoes. Y'all ain't I don't like red shoes. I ain't wearing red shoes. I don't care if you like red shoes. I ain't wearing red shoes. Because I'm not a red shoe kind of guy. And you better let that be known up front instead of letting her think that she controlling everything. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Because it gets deeper. It starts with the red shoes. Y'all ain't helping me preach up in here. But it gets on down. Next time your color, your underwear will be decided by what somebody else determines they are going to be. Y'all ain't helping me. And every now and then you got to step up and say, that ain't me. Come on, talk to me somebody. Because if you don't let them know who you really are, they're going to turn you into something else. Well, let me preach my way out of here. Because here comes this young lad now. He comes from a man, he comes from a place that's stable. Say stable. He's got a daddy who's rich. Y'all ain't saying nothing. He comes from a place where his daddy runs a successful business. He comes from a place where things are working well in the family. But he don't know what's out there. He don't know what's behind the scenes. He don't know anything. And the scripture said not many days from there, he spent all that he had on righteous living. Raphael said it was debaucherous living. Abraham said it was frivolous living. It was fruitful living. I'm trying to tell y'all something up in here. You don't need a point in your life where your deception is going to turn you in or turn you out. You better hurry up and realize that there's some things that I've got to face in this life. Lay up both your hands and just let me know right now that I'm ready to face reality. I'm ready to face reality because not many days your relationship will be tested. Y'all ain't helping me. And so here comes a relationship that he now has to forge with a stranger. And there comes a time when you got to change your position of relationship. I don't care where you come from. I don't care how good you had it. I don't care how blessed you were. There coming a day when you're going to have to decide to attach yourself to somebody else. Some stranger may have to get you through. Y'all ain't helping me. He meets a stranger and he ain't got the best job now. No, he ain't got the best situation now. But he meets a man that gives him a job. Y'all ain't helping me. It was a job of feeding the swine. And when he was feeding the swine, help me up in here. It finally hit him. Come on here. That what I have perceived in my mind is not reality. I should have asked my daddy how to spend my money. I should have asked my daddy how to invest my money. I should have asked my daddy to hold on to a few of these dollars before I leave, because the text said he loaded up everything he had. Never occurred to him to leave something with your daddy. But let me tell you why. Because he didn't appreciate the relationship that he had with his daddy. High five your neighbor and say, neighbor, if the good relationships you have, you better learn how to hold on to them. The good relationships that you have are far and few in between. I'm a living witness to try to tell you that if that woman has looked at your junk and she decides to stay with you anyway, you better start thanking God that you got somebody that has seen you at your lowest moments your situation. Your situation ain't as bad as the devil trying to make you believe. You eat every day. Can I help you? Help me. Anybody here stop at McDonald's this week? Anybody stop at Burger King this week? Anybody stop at Wendy's this week? Anybody stop at Pete's this week? Anybody go to Sonic this week? Did anybody eat out this week? Raise your hand and receive it. Yeah. This thing ain't as bad as you think they are. Because you still doing what you want to do. Can I have a witness in here? Ask your neighbor one last question. Say, neighbor, are you ready to deal with reality? Help me preach. Help me close. The man came to himself. You heard me right. The scripture says he was a young boy when he started out. But when he came to himself, he was a man. It takes a man. It takes a woman to come to yourself, to admit that there I am. But that's where I want to be. How do I get there? Even in the face of my tragedy and my moment, can I preach like I feel it? There's a time in your life where God sets you up from tragedy to transition. Do you get me? That's where we are. That's where I am in my life. I'm at a place of transition. I told somebody the other day, I'm not sure what I want. I'm not sure how I want it. So the best thing is for me not to make a commitment, not to drag somebody else in my chaos, not to drag somebody else in my mess, not to drag somebody else in my calamity. Do you hear me? I'm in transition. And some of you in here, whether you know it or not, the reason you got problems in your marriage ain't because of what that woman did or what that man did. It's God that's got you in transition. Yeah. It's God bringing you to a point of tragedy. It looks like tragedy. Every time God gets ready to promote somebody in the Bible, tragedy shows up. Red Sea show up. River Jordans show up. Hunger of 5,000 men and women show up. But I bear the hunger. It's tragedy bringing me to transition. Good God from Zion. But our transition, this ain't my message, it just fit right there. Transition is bringing me to triumph. You don't hear me? Your tragedy looks like it's over. Looks like it's done. You've been in self-deception. Looks like you can't get through. Looks like you can't get out. But can I help you? Your God got his eyes on you. He cares for the little birds. Surely he cares for me. He's watching you. He's watching you shift, transition, tragedy. Didn't kill me, didn't break me down, didn't put me out, but it brought me to myself and self. I recognize now that I can't do it by myself. Hit your neighbor tired of seeing the church just fragmented. Just know, the self-deception allow you to think the thing ought to be one way when God is trying to move it in another direction. I'm tired of trying to tell married couples y'all just need to stay together. I can tell you that no more. I got a new relation. I got a new revelation. I will tell you this, it's better if you stay. You can work it out if you take all of the fluff and stuff that you want it to be and deal with the reality of who each other is. It'll work. Now it takes two. So I told people this. I had a couple call me last week. I asked them on the phone. I said, I got one question for you before you waste your time, before you waste God's time, before you waste mine. Got one question for you. Are you willing to fight for this? Sister said, I'm tired of fighting. I said, is that a no? She says, I don't want it. I said, is that your final answer? If you don't want it, ain't no need in us going through this futile, because all you want to do is come here and tell me what's wrong with him, and he going to tell me what's wrong with you. If you ain't willing to fight for this, you don't need to discuss it. I'll pray for you from afar. Y'all don't like it. When are you going to realize that you cannot make people into what you want them to do? You're going to fail every time. You want them to be this, but they ain't going to never be what you want them to be. You got to fight. They might have become a little too transparent. They call me a little loose now. Because I tell you straight up, hey, this is what it is. You don't like it? Help me with it. Okay, I can't help nobody now. It's amazing how many people want you to tell them what's wrong with you, and then they won't help you. That's kind of foolish. That's oxymoronic to me. What you see is what you get. It's what you get. But how you gonna deal with it? Huh? Some of your accomplishments with each other has far exceeded what others could ever imagine they would accomplish. You come a long way together. And now the enemy is telling you, throw it away, throw it away, throw it away, throw it away. What? Look at all the stuff you've invested in one another. Now, on the other hand, can I help somebody? There are situations when you need to run. Okay, you hit yourself in the head 5 times, and you didn't provoke. One night it was drunk, one night it was this, one night it was that, one night it was this. You hit yourself in the head, knock your head off, knock your wig off, pull your extensions out. Okay, listen to me. God ain't gonna be mad with you if you go. Save yourself. He ain't gonna be mad with you. Situations when you need to go, and situations when he's stealing money out of your pocketbook, leaving you broke where you can't even keep the lights on the house. Hey, his reality got to come. Leave him. Tell him the pastor said so. It's time to go. Frank tell you can't even keep food in the house. Y'all ain't saying that. It's time for you to get up out of here. Now y'all talk all the food that y'all want. I ain't going hungry for you. Now I go home now for you. I ain't going hungry for you. I'm trying to help you, man. I know when God put me on this journey and start talking about this is gonna be nasty, this is gonna be tough. Because I come out of a broken relationship. Can you imagine having to stand here out of a broken relationship and then try to teach you what God said? Oh, I know what some of y'all coming in. He talking about relationship. God, look at him. Okay. I'm trying to tell you, you don't want this. You don't want no 2 or 3 years of crying and then a bitch. You don't want this. Everybody ain't gonna make it through that mental and emotional trauma. Everybody knows it. You're looking at the other side of it now. Oh, I'm all right now. You know what he said? I'm firm and on good ground now. But that initial time was rough. And you think all these people trying to get you out of self-deception. All these people who pat you on your back and tell you you're better than a slice of bread. Let somebody tell you. I found out I had one true friend, only one. One. That's what I found out. I'm talking about church people and everybody. One. I had one brother that made sure that I would get through. One. Only one. Good God from outside. I was talking with Bishop Bristol this Friday night at a banquet I had see in New Bern. And while I was there, Bishop Bristol was a keynote speaker. Bishop Bristol was talking later as we were going back to the country. And he said something to me. He said, we called each other Darryl and Stephan. He said, because we're the same age. He said, Stephan, man, you are somebody. I never had another man to tell me that. Y'all ain't hear me. He said, man, there's some gifts and talents, man. We got to talk, man. He said, we need to talk. See, somebody somewhere is going to come along and see what you really are. I'm trying to help you. You just got to be patient. You ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. You got to prove nothing to you. That's why I preach like I feel it now. I said, oh no, I ain't trying to jump the hoops. You ain't doing no James Brown twist and turn around. I ain't auditioning now. I've been doing this 26 years. If y'all don't hear me now, you will never hear me. When are you going to let go? I'm purposely taking my time to do this today. When are you going to get out of self-perception and self-deception? Stop fooling yourself. If you want to have a good, solid relationship in your life with the male-female persuasion, with the business, with society, with whatever situation, with your family, whatever it is, if you're going to have, I know sisters who ain't talking today. Can you imagine growing up together and don't even speak to one another, can't talk to one another, I don't like it, they got it. No, that comes from another issue. See, people don't, man, that comes from a deep-rooted sense of something else. But do you think that relationship, and you married, and you think that relationship you have with your sister, y'all don't even talk to one another, and can't get along with one another, y'all blood sisters and brothers, and what it can't do that, can't do that, and you think that's not going to affect the relationship you got with your husband? Shit, you better come on. All of it affects intertwines. I'm looking at you young people, I love you. Children to raise, families to raise. You're going to have to sit down and find out who you really are so you can do it right. Do it well. Y'all ain't saying nothing. So you can do this well. You can do this well. Help me some. You can do this well. But don't be fooled by the masses. Don't be deceived by your own self. Lord, I pray for these people. I pray that we begin to understand that relating to one another is far beyond what we can perceive in our own mind. For your